Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Friday, May 27th. We are talking with SBR contributor Ian Cameron. We're looking at the opening lines for the in Major League Baseball for the card for Saturday. Ian Cameron, the first game that I have to ask you about, not necessarily because I'm seeing a big value, but because everyone's going to be wondering about it and looking about it and thinking about it, is the return of Darvish for Texas, right? The return of Darvish, the opening line for this one. They're at home against Pittsburgh with Nicasio on the other side. It's about minus 150, and Darvish's rehab starts in the minors all look great. How much do we put into that? I don't think we put everything into it, but I think it's obviously a very good sign, indicating that that he's ready to go, good to go, 100% in elite form, whatever. Had an ERA of under 1 in his minor league rehab starts. Then the other side, Nicasio's definitely been getting hit on the road, so he's going to be vulnerable here. Darvish is reported to be, he'll be on a pitch count, but still, if you're going to get 85 to 90 excellent top grade pitches from Darvish, and Nicasio is probably going to get hit, then maybe you want to take a shot with Texas at the opening line of minus 150. What do you think?
Maybe, but I'm going to sit back and wait on this one. We're talking about a guy that's been out of Major League Baseball for quite a long time, and definitely his numbers in his rehab starts before being called back up to the Texas Rangers, they're spectacular. But, let's remember, this is Arlington. This is Rangers ballpark. Not an easy place to pitch, and he's familiar with it. That's what it's on his side, but it's just been so long since he has been on a Major League Baseball mound that I just would rather take this one in, see what we get from Darvish, see if his stuff is still strong, if his velocity is still there, if he's still got the great crisp movement, because that's always been a staple of Darvish in the past, that sharp breaking ball movement that he has that just gets swings and misses and just gets completely baffles opposing hitters. So I want to see if Darvish really has all of that still intact. On the flip side, Juan Nicasio for Pittsburgh, he's not a guy I really trust, to be honest with you, Pete. You mentioned it on the road. He's not been as strong as he's been at PNC Park. Really, it goes back to his days with Colorado, where it was the same thing. You put him in a pitcher's park, pitched a little bit better, was a lot more serviceable. Get him outside of that in this kind of tougher environment, hitter's park like Texas, and it might be a struggle for him here. That being said, no bargains off the hop to back Darvish in his first start back in the big leagues at around minus 150 as a home favorite across the board. Just don't want to dive in with the sheep and the herd of cattle really here in Darvish's first start. I'm going to sit back and watch, see it, and make sure that Darvish still has strong elite stuff to begin his 2016 season.
Okay, and then another opening line for a home favorite in the same range that I'm thinking about is the Mets at home against the Dodgers, and Syndergaard starting for the Mets. And this guy has just been legit awesome, and he's putting up he's given these kinds of Clayton Kershaw type starts where you can assume you're going to get 0 or at most 1 run from him given up in a minimum of about 7 innings every start. I think that's a fairly reasonable assumption with Syndergaard. And then the other side, Kenta Maeda has definitely come crashing back down to earth after his hot start. He's given up 4 runs in 5 innings, start in and start out now. So in light of all that, maybe taking a shot with the Mets, just minus 140 at Pinnacle, minus 145 at other places might be worth a stab. What do you think?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a tricky, wonky delivery, Kenta Maeda. And you just have to wonder if at the very beginning of the season that was catching teams a little bit off guard, because clearly it looks like in his last 2 or 3 starts, we've seen teams make a pretty significant adjustment toward Kenta Maeda and his delivery. And he's definitely been rocked a little bit in recent outings. We're talking about a guy that after just cruising along in the month of April and early in May, the last 3 starts in particular, it's been a big rough spot for Kenta Maeda. 7.71 ERA, 12 runs allowed in 14 innings of work. The walks have gone up. Strikeouts are still there, but he's been a lot more hittable, and you just have to wonder about the fact that maybe these opposing hitters, they've really caught up to Kenta Maeda in terms of his delivery, and they're starting to smack him around just a little bit. In fact, in his last start at San Diego, I was on the Padres in the over in that game. We got the over. Dodgers won, but it wasn't because of Kenta Maeda. It was the bullpen, put up some zeros, kept San Diego off the scoreboard, but even the Padres got to Maeda. Only lasted 5 innings in that start, gave up 4 runs. So definitely some concerning warning signs here with Maeda. And on the flip side, Noah Syndergaard, alias Thor, for the New York Mets on the mound. I mean, he's been terrific, especially in his last 3 starts. I mean, he is definitely the best pitcher on this Mets rotation right now. It ain't Matt Harvey and his mental fragility, as I guess you could say, and it isn't even Jacob deGrom, who's got concerns with declining velocity and some issues with walks with him and control lately. So right now, it's Noah Syndergaard that is carrying the mantle for the Mets rotation. 3-0 in his last 3 starts, .82 ERA, allowing just 2 earned runs in his last 22 innings of work, 1 walk to 27 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. That's just dominant results from Noah Syndergaard. Price is more than fair here to back the Mets, in my opinion. -140, -150. I still think Kenta Maeda at this stage, a little bit of a bet against right now. Mets are nothing for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I mean, even to people who say, never take big favorite lines in baseball. Well, this isn't really that big of a favorite line, getting -140 to 145. And then another line in this range is Miami at Atlanta. And as we know, Atlanta has obviously been a great fade all year long in all areas, but especially at home. You basically just want to look for any reason to bet against them at home. And, on Saturday, they've got this guy Aaron Blair starting, who's having all kinds of problems, so they don't even have one of their better starting pitchers going. On the other side, you got Miami with Chen starting, and Chen has actually been a little bit shaky recently, but he is pretty reliable. Not the ideal starting pitcher to want to have going when you're taking a big road favorite here, about -145 or -150. But I'm just wondering if Chen is good enough, reliable enough, and the line not high enough, not too high that it warrants a play on Miami about -145 or -150. What do you think?
Yeah, the Marlins not playing great baseball by any stretch of the imagination. That being said, I cannot, will not, and may not for a long time make a case to back the Atlanta Braves at home.
Yeah.
2-20 in 22 home games at Turner Field. I've talked about this ad nauseum. There is no ambiance, none, zero in that ballpark. Nobody gives a flying what about Atlanta Braves baseball right now in that city. No, it's a pathetic baseball team. Nobody's turning out. The ticket counters are empty. I mean, it's just nobody is excited or feeling it for this baseball team. Not that they've given them a reason to.
Right. Nice town though, Atlanta, ATL. I like the town.
Oh, the town's a little bit actually overrated from an entertainment perspective. I remember Chipper Jones, Pete, a decade ago said Atlanta is more of a party town and a lot of things, but more things to do in Atlanta than Toronto. Are you serious? I mean, have you ever been to Toronto? I mean, if you're a down south person, maybe you haven't, but ridiculous statement as far as I'm concerned. But getting back to this game, I mean, Atlanta to me, no home field edge whatsoever. And yeah, Blair does have some upside, but still he's trying to iron out consistency. And a guy that's still trying to develop himself as a major league starting pitcher. Wei-Yin Chen, to me, for the most part, has been serviceable for this Miami team. You get him in a park like Turner Field, where you can keep the ball in the stadium against an Atlanta lineup that's been absolutely feeble. I don't know how the hell they got stuck to just 2 runs against Willie Peralta and the Brewers last night. Just a terrible showing by them at the plate. But what else is new there? I mean, if you shut down Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis, there's not a whole lot of power bats in that lineup outside of those 2 guys. So that's basically your game plan for Wei-Yin Chen. You neutralize a couple of guys in the middle of that lineup, and you're sailing, you're flying toward probably a victory. So I'm with you, Pete. If I'm betting this game, I'm not making a case for the home team. It's the road favorite or nothing for me.
That's what I think. I'm thinking as well. I think I'm going to be on Miami first half, second half, full game, and maybe on the Atlanta team total under as well. All right, we've got a bunch of other games, a full card on Saturday. What else would you like to bring up to our attention, Ian?
Yeah, let's talk about a couple. Baltimore and Cleveland. I'm still going to go against Ubaldo Jimenez here. Prime bet against material for me in recent games. He's on a downward trajectory in a big way. He's allowed 17 runs in his last 15 innings of work, more walks than strikeouts during that span. 7.02 ERA for Jimenez on the road. Baltimore's a winless 0-3 in his road starts this year. Just everything you want in a bet against pitcher. Jimenez has no confidence right now. He's been getting smacked around. He's given up too many walks, and a lot of those walks are coming around to score lately. So it's just been a disaster for him. And he'll be countered on the other side by Danny Salazar, who to me has struggled at times with walks, can get a little bit wild, but he's been able to harness it, especially here at home. A 1.23 ERA for Salazar here in Cleveland, allowing just 3 runs in 22 innings pitched at home. Indians winning 2 of those 3 starts. He shut down Baltimore in his only start against them last year, allowing a single run in 7 innings of work. It's not a great bargain to back Cleveland here, but I think it's still reasonable at -149, which you can find at Heritage Sports right now to back the Indians. I'm still got no issues fading Jimenez right now, so I'll look to Cleveland as the home favorite in that game. Houston and the LA Angels as well on Saturday. How about the woes for Dallas Keuchel? They just keep on keeping on. After just a brilliant season last year, he was lit up once again in his last start by Texas. 7 runs on 9 hits and 6 innings of work. His road numbers remain worse than his home numbers. That's been a historical fact for Dallas Keuchel throughout his career, but it's remained the same this year. He has a 6.57 ERA on the road. His walks are up. Strikeouts are down. Swinging strike rate is down. Not good signs for Dallas Keuchel whatsoever. LA Angels suddenly starting to hit a little bit better offensively as well. 50 runs in their last 10 games combined. But the only issue is with going against Keuchel here, you've got to back Jared Weaver, and a little bit of issues doing that. I mean, on the opposite end of this matchup, Weaver did pitch better last time against Baltimore, but still, his FIP and his xFIP are right around where his ERA is, which is 5.33, which indicates, that there's nothing fluky about the struggles he's had, and not someone that I overly trust to mow down opposing hitters. However, there is one thing Weaver does have going for him. The Angels are 4-0 in Weaver's last 4 home starts against the Houston Astros, so he has pitched better against this particular team on this field. So maybe that's something Jared Weaver might have going for him. Houston just 1-6 in Dallas Keuchel's last 7 starts overall. If you've been backing Keuchel start in and start out this year, you're just burning money at an alarming rate. I'm going to go side and total in this game, Peter. I'm going to take a shot, even though I'm not an overly big fan of Jared Weaver, and I shouldn't have a reason to with that velocity of his where it is, but I'm going to look to the Angels as a slight home underdog in this game. You can get plus 114 with them right now at Chris is a home underdog at Bookmaker. And I'm also going to go over the total of 7.5 in this game. Pretty low total considering the 2 suspect arms that we have involved in this particular matchup. So Angels and over. See if we can go 2-0 with a side and total in that one on Saturday.
All right. I would certainly agree with both of those leans. Ian Cameron, thanks so much. Talk to you again very soon.
All right. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the games and good luck.